again. This is Black Shy Guy, baby. I got wonderful news for all those who are Drizzt fans, and I am so excited for anyone who loves this character of the Dungeons and Dragons fantasy world. And I am so stoked. Finally. See, good things are happening with, we got Lord of the Rings, we got all of this, the Game of Thrones. I mean, and I'm wondering, when is R.A. Salvatore's character, when is he going to get the shine? When is he going to be highly publicized in the level of Game of Thrones and all these other fantasies like Lord of the Rings? When? Because to me, he's way more popular than those people. To me, him and his company is way more popular. You know what I mean? I don't understand. It's like even the background characters are even more famous than these other characters they got publicized on television and in the movies. But it's boggles my mind they don't have a movie or they don't have anything. But we're getting a couple of things now. I think Drizzt is getting the publicity he's getting now, and big ups to R.A. Salvatore. I mean, I want to thank him also. I mean, when I was young, I'm at the age of 40 now. I have no shame in saying my age. I'm at the age of 40 now, and I really enjoyed reading the books of Drizzt all those times I was on the bus, when I was on a train ride, when I was coming from work when I was young, and also even when I even during class, sometimes I'll sneak and read a couple of pages or stuff like that. It just brought back so many memories looking at this. I don't know if you noticed, there was All Things Drizzt event going on, and it's just, it almost brought tear to my eyes, really, because there's also a game coming out about Drizzt, which I really, really am going to get. I mean, you can't be a fan of Drizzt and not get this game. You can't. You can't. The only thing, though, when this game releases, I hope you can unlock characters. You know what I mean? Characters like Jalaxu, characters like Artemis and Trary. You know what I mean? Even Regis, because I didn't see Regis. I don't believe I seen Regis. I just seen Bruna Battlehammer and Wolfgar. You know what I mean? That's all I seen. I mean, I'm not lying. I mean, I don't mind the son of Bionic. I don't mind. But I want Regis in there, especially when Regis came back in his second life. He was a warrior. He was deadly with the rapier. He was deadly. He was at a high level. So I'm not sure. Maybe they got the game like that because, well, let's dive in. I'm talking a bit too much. I'm sorry. This is Black Shy Guy. Hit the like button if you really like this video. Hit the subscribe button for any upcoming new videos. Come on, sit at my table and let's enjoy this video.
Exciting content coming your way this summer. Fans of the Forgotten Realms, Dungeons and Dragons, and Magic the Gathering will not have in store for you here today because we have with us here in the studio R.A. Salvatore, the creator of the Dark Elf Drizzt Duerden.
Look at. I mean, there's a lot of people that cosplay Drizzt. That's a decent looking Drizzt. I gotta admit it. He's a decent looking Drizzt. I mean, he's not bad. I mean, I just don't like the way he has his scimitars. I mean, you can't tell which one is Icing Death. You can't. I mean, it's okay. I mean, he should have put at least a little bit more distinction between the blades, but it's okay.
We also have a few other special guests who will be joining us with more exclusive content that will center around the Drow. R.A. Salvatore is a New York Times best-selling author that has sold more than 30 million books in over 14 different languages. He is known as one of the fantasy genre's most successful authors. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, my dude. Thank you,
I am a huge fan, all the way back to The Crystal Shard, which came out in 1988, which I can't believe. And I just want to say, on behalf of all the fans watching, thank you, honestly, for everything you've done.
Thank you for giving us such a character.
It's been a wonderful journey for me, too. So you're very welcome.
Drizzt's ventures have taken him over 30 different books across graphic novels, across video games. In your opinion...
And I enjoyed all the books. I enjoyed every single book of this series. The only thing I didn't enjoy, I forgot which and I apologize. I forgot the title of that book when Drizzt basically he's basically was going through turmoil because he couldn't find out what was real and what was fake and what was reality because he thought his friends came back, but they made him believe, one of the matron mothers made him believe that it was a lie. You know what I mean? Um and I think it was the daughter of Grump. I think it was the daughter of Grump that which became the matron mother that basically messed with Drizzt's mind and made him believe that what he was experiencing in life right now was all a lie, all was a fake, basically a plot by the Spider Queen to basically get revenge on him. And that series, which resulted going into 1.5 books because it happened almost in the middle of the last book and it went into the next book. And the reason Drizzt finally got back his memory, which happened in the almost in the last chapter of the next book, when he fought Artemis and Trary in that battle, and Artemis and Trary was willing to take a blow for Drizzt to finally get out of that turmoil that he was going through. I didn't enjoy that book because you just wasn't experiencing the Drizzt that you wanted to experience. It was almost a whole different. I don't know. I mean, and let me get. I'm gonna tell you, my favorite character in the series became Artemis and Trary. He became my favorite after reading some more, and after after he became like almost human, you know what I mean, after he became almost human, and after he also kind of fell in love with Dahlia. No, he fell in love with Dahlia, but Artemis and Trey just became my favorite character. His change and his growth was amazing. But I'm babbling too much. Let's continue.
What makes Drizzt such a unique hero?
See, I think unique's the wrong word because I think there's something in Drizzt that we all have. If you think when I started, right, it was the fantasy genre back in the 80s was mostly teenage boys, right? Well, who in high school or junior high doesn't feel out of place? How many people walk around thinking if people just knew who I was, they'd like me a lot more than they seem to like me, right? That's just the human condition. So I think Drizzt has that. I just think that it was nice for people to find the friends, and I think what really makes
There they go, Bruno Bannerhammer, Caddy Bray, and Wolfgar, and I know you guys. I know you guys are gonna say the same thing I'm saying. How many times you thought that when you read that book, Wolfgar had the size of the hammer like Thor? Because in every single picture, almost in every single book, his hammer is actually long. And I don't remember ever reading that his hammer was the length almost of his body. I always thought the hammer was like a bit medium sized. You know what I mean? But whatever. I mean, look at Guinevere. I mean, obviously, I can't miss Guinevere. He's amazing. And I love the fact that they showed Guinevere here, and he's actually really big. Because in some pictures, they show him as a regular-sized panther, and he's not. He's astronomically huge.
Drizzt shine of the friends he finds. And buddy fantasy becomes your high school friend. And it worked. I just was writing what I wanted, you know, with the fantasy I wanted, and other people apparently wanted it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, you know, I guess I have to ask the question that is on everybody's minds. What can you tell us about the new book that is coming out in August?
After all these years, one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book in the Drizzt series, is Homeland still, because I got to create something completely different.
Well, that's the beginning, you know.
That's what I'm telling you about the new book. It's a place I want to go have some adventures.
I'm gonna go back.
Well, it just so happens we
put down in the comments what was your favorite book of the series.
Actually have an image of the cover, which is incredible.
Why is Canterbury well, she started using Tormorel again when she was fighting Dahlia in that cave when Drizzt gave her Tormorel, and she was telling Drizzt, hey, in this new life, I haven't handled the arrow. And she shot the arrow, and it didn't go nowhere near where she wanted it to go. But Drizzt and Bruno was like, see, you still got it, basically. It was funny. But basically, Katie Bree now, she depends on her magic, because I don't know if you remember in the fight, in the fight with I can't believe it. I forgot the ogre's the King O'Bold. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot King O'Bold. When they was fighting King O'Bold and the ice giant threw the rock, it basically crushed Caddy Bree, and she couldn't fight the way she used to fight before. So she had to depend on magic in the last part of her first life. And then she came back in her new life and she was even more powerful. But she really put down Tomorrow. She didn't use Tomorrow like she used to. So in Starlight Enclave, I'm wondering, is this a way back to the beginning? I'm thinking this is a prequel.
It is. I mean, look at it. What kind of changes can people expect to the Drow or to the Dark Elves? Are you doing something different this time?
Not
Yeah, like
changing
what?
anything. I'm expanding. Following up on the whole new understanding of what happened in Menzo Baranzan. The idea
it
that
is
that's
like
the
prequel.
only Drow culture or the Underdark Drow cultures isn't true.
I've been a big fan of the Drow, since the Crystal Shard. Before that, back to second edition. And anytime there was a direct correlation between race and morality, it was always a problem.
Sure.
That you were bad because you were born this way. What will the Starlight Elves mean to the series?
They'll certainly mean a lot to the book, the next couple of books. I don't know yet. I don't know
So
where
he's
I'm going. I don't know where I'm
making.
going
This
on
is
the next
not
page
only
most
the
of the time.
last
That's what
book
makes
he's
me
making.
fun.
He's making more.
So when is the book going to be available for pre-order?
My wife's putting it up at R.A. Salvatore.
R.A. Salvatore is
August
the
3rd,
best
2021.
URL I've ever heard in my life, by the way.
Best dad joke.
But you might not have heard. We
I
actually
need to
have
go
a
to RA
surprise
South
for
Store. Check
you
that out. I
today.
didn't realize that.
We have a fantastic animated short that I know you wrote, but we actually have the finished product.
The finished product?
Finished product.
All
To
right.
show you yet. Now, as far as I know, you haven't seen this.
Not seen the finished product. I've seen clips.
What can
Okay,
you
show
tell
it.
us, for the people who have no idea what it is that I'm talking about, what is it that we are about to watch?
I get a call from Wizards of the Coast, and they said, Bob, we want you to write a lullaby. And I'm like, what? So, okay. And I said, you really want me to do this? They said, yeah. And then they told me who was reading it, and I'll let people find out for themselves. And I went, oh, okay.
So let's go ahead and play the piece. Here is Sleep Sound, an animated short.
Okay. Spider right there.
Quiet, my child, my little drow. Your dreams invite tranquility now.
I love the fact they have the purple lights,
Cavern, stone
basically stating
walls,
Drizzt's eyes.
secure. The web holds you tight through underdark night, and guardian spiders that tickle you feel. With gossamer thread, weave our goddess's seal. The Spider Queen's children, and so too your kin, are here to remind you that you shall not sin. They show you the scourge, the snake-headed whip. They bite and they tear.
This is when he was at the school.
Here's your prayer.
This is the
There
first
no
time he
such
went up. This is the
blessing
first
to
time.
the damned up above. Those
This is the first time I believe, but this is almost like a town. I believe it was an encampment he went the first time that that his kindred and his people killed the elves, the wood elves, the woodland elves, and one of them survived. One of them survived, obviously, but she became a problem in the future for him. But one of them survived because Drizzt basically pretended that she was dead. You know what I mean? She pretended that she was dead. He pretended that she was dead. So, I mean, it looked like this is what they're showing, but I always thought it was like an encampment with tents and stuff. It's showing basically a house and everything.
who've forsaken the Spider Queen's love. In their way lies weakness and unceasing waste.
It's been a while since I read the first two books.
if
I
you
think I'm
would
gonna go
join
back.
Then so be debased.
And he didn't kill not one.
And when Hellfire Orb looks down on your shame, your
I think this is when she found out that he really didn't kill that woodland elf girl. I think this is when she found out. But she found out because Breezer. his sister found out that he really didn't kill that woodland elf girl. Maybe. I'm just assuming right now.
Soul is burned bare. She knows you're to blame. You'll live ever running. You've no place to hide. And huddled in fear, for there is no disguise. The sun, it will burn you. The cold snow
This
will
is when they kicked
freeze.
him out of that town. It didn't show it, but they kicked him out of the town. Basically a town that even accepted rapists and killers and everything. And they still didn't accept Drizzt just because he was a drow. And drow dark skin. And they still didn't accept him, so he had to go in this cave.
Hopelessness tumbles you down to your knees.
All right.
And when you
No
are
way.
broken,
It's way off. It's
to
way
her
off.
you will pray.
It's way off. So, okay, I'm trying to understand this. R.A. Salvatore, obviously this is a prequel and he's rewriting it. So, I don't know, he's going back because he said Homeland was his favorite book. Is he changing some things? Because when Caddy Bree first met Drizzt, she didn't go in the cave. She seen him up in the mountain because Drizzt was spying on her. So now it looks like she walks upon him in the cave and she has a bow and arrow. She was never a warrior in the beginning, ever. She was not a warrior. She was a regular little girl and she was much younger than the way it shows her now. And, so I don't know I don't understand this part right here. And once again, I love the way they show Guinevere, how big he really is. That's his size. They got to stay like that. They got to stay true to form because a lot of pictures they show Guinevere much lower, basically Drizzt's below Drizzt's waist, and that's not her size. Guinevere is much larger, and that's perfect right there. But I don't understand this part. Caddy Bree walks in the cave and she already has the bow and arrow as if she was welding turmeric already. I don't understand that, but let's see.
But she will not hear you. You've thrown her away.
Yep. That's Angus Fang. He's creating that for his son Wolfgar. And if you read the book, you know who Wolfgar is. Obviously, I mean, if you don't know who Wolfgar is, you have not even read the book. Bruna obviously was not going to kill him when he knocked him out in the field of battle, and he adopted him. Kind of adopted him. He made him own up to what he did by doing chores and work around the village, and then he happened to fall in love with him as a son. And to end all be all, he created him a magical weapon called Angus Fang.
And you'll find no companions to stand in our way when we hunt you and fight you and torment for play.
See, this is what I have a problem with because the majority of the time they got in a fight, Regis was there. And Regis, in his first life, he always hid somewhere or he always put himself in a position to help the team in some sort of way. Even if it's to clumsily knock down a rock to hit a giant or throw a pebble or something. Regis was always somehow helpful. And I really think they should have put Regis somewhere here, even if it's behind Guinevere, because obviously Regis always wanted some sort of protection when they were in battle, and for him being behind Guinevere would have been perfect because him and Guinevere were really close, and Guinevere saved Regis a whole bunch of time, especially that time in the witch's castle when she teleported him out of the rubble, and it just would have been perfect just to see Regis behind Guinevere, and this is not the full company of the hall because Regis is missing. He's a big piece, and anybody who's read the book, you gotta understand what I'm saying. Regis is a big piece, and to not have him here, it kind of bothers me.
You've chosen the weaklings of the world up above, who speak empty words and know not love's love. No love.
This is how Regis got icing death, but it ain't happened this way. It's because Wolfgar went off, Drizzt went behind Wolfgar, and they ended up killing the dragon icing death, and that's how he got his sword, because they was rummaging through the rubble, and Drizzt was like, Wolfgar was like, basically, Drizzt was like, "All of this is yours or whatever. You earned it because Wolfgar ended up doing the final blow." But Drizzt said, "But this scimitar right here, it's mine." So that's how he got the icing death, and the icing death scimitar, which saved him in a lot of battles, even against the Baylor.
Will not save you from human deceit, nor from bearded dwarves.
See, he's changing a lot of. Oh, I thought he was gonna fall all the way down.
Queen
That's how
shows us the one single way. There is only the night.
See, I mean, I don't know. And R.A. Salvatore wrote this, so it's like, is he just meshing all the stories together? Because we all know Cadbury and Drizzt didn't get together until both of them thought Wolfgar was dead, and they happened to fall in love because they was going on adventures together. Especially when they went on adventures with Captain Dudamont, and they happened to be much closer after those adventures, and they fell in love. And even after then, it took them a long time to admit to each other that they were in love with each other. So, obviously, I'm assuming this is after Wolfgar came back when he was captured by the Baylor all those years and being tortured. And even after that, when Wolfgar came back, he wanted Cadbury back, but Cadbury already was in love with Drizzt, and Wolfgar was going through so much turmoil at that time, and it took him a long time to recover. I mean, it took him a long time to recover. And I don't know. I mean, so is he changing even that? Does Drizzt and Cadbury fall in love even earlier before Wolfgar died in the tunnel against the I forgot that creature's name, but he died in a tunnel in front of Cadbury and Bruder Bannerhammer. And he ended up dying but not dying. So whatever. So I'm guessing they fall in love earlier in this version of the book. I mean, this is really confusing. If you read the book, this should also be confusing to you also.
There is never the day. For strength does not stretch through branch or through leaf. It bleeds.
Look. I love it. I know you guys know this. The mug on Bruder Battlehammer's shield. I know it. Yeah, I know you guys noticed that because obviously in his second life he comes back and that shield basically becomes magical. He can actually make beer out of that shield. Like he can serve you a whole bunch of beer out of that shield. And once again, you see, it shows Guinevere, it shows Cadbury, Drizzt, Wolfgar, and Brunner, and no signs of Regis. That bothers me. But I'm wondering, you see, Brunner, Wolfgar, Drizzt, it's like, why not put Regis in these? I don't get it, and that's one thing I would tell R.A. Salvatore. Why are you not including Regis in any of these prolific shots? Because that's the four companions of the Hall. You have to have Regis in there.
From the roots that secure us beneath, deep in our hearts, wrapped tight in Loth's web, with venom we sting, her glory we sing. So whisper your love of your matron, your mother, who teaches the way to your sisters and brother. Brother, I say, there can only be one. For if there were two, there couldn't be you. Then that silken swaddle, that tickling wreath, would instead be your death by the Spider Queen's teeth.
Spider Queen is much gorgeous than that. Just to let you know. She's beautiful. Spider Queen is actually beautiful, except her lower body.
Or burn in the light alone.
Sleep sound. I love Benedict Cumberbatch's voice. I love Benedict Cumberbatch's voice, but we all know who should have narrated this. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think Victor Levine should have. I think Victor should have narrated it. I think they should have honored him. by narrating it, because every time I hear Drizzt's voice, it's Victor's voice that basically comes to mind. And Victor has a very talented way of voicing all the characters in his own way. And that's already embedded in my memory, and how Drizzt sounds, how Wolfgar sounds, how even Artemis sounds, how Jarlaxle sounds, how it's just, I mean, um I don't know. I mean, I mean, even Fist and Fury, the way they sound. Fist and Fury has he had the way he puts their voice, the two sisters, even the way they sound. I don't know. I'm gonna really say nay to this. I I don't know. They should have got Victor Blavine. And they should have got him. I don't know why you didn't honor it even further by putting Victor's voice in there. That's another thing I'm gonna look up. Finally, Drizzt is getting the recognition. I can't believe this is happening.
Well, boom.
So that might be the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That
what was
was.
that like to watch for the first time?
It made me go back to a conversation I had at a convention many, many years ago. And someone was complaining to me, these books have to grow up, meaning basically they wanted more sex and more violence and all the rest of it.
Really?
And I said, no, these books, the characters will change.
It's not like there's no sexual contents in the book. I mean, how deep sexual you want him to go? That there was cupping breasts and stuff like that. There is sexual content in the book. He just doesn't go into detail. There's no point. We already know what they're doing. We don't need the sexual content. We just want Drizzt.
The books won't. Because I want anyone who picks up a Drizzt book, I don't care how many years they've been reading it. I want them to remember what it felt like when they were back in high school and they picked up their first Drizzt book.
Yep.
That's my goal. And that just put me right back.
You're getting emotional. That's beautiful, man. Like, I'm trying to hold it in, and you're going to make me lose it. How would you think of Benedict Cumberbatch's performance?
You tell me. That was amazing.
It was just such a magnificent encapsulation of not Drizzt's whole story and origin up until that point, but what they all mean to each other.
Everything we talked about earlier is in that. Isn't that amazing?
It's weird. It's almost like you planned it.
I didn't plan that at all. That's Wizards of the Coast.
You know, that is the consistency of the storytelling, that everybody knows the companions and what they are to each other. So that still is ultimately your doing.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, the companions except one. There's no signs of Regis anywhere so far during this whole ordeal. And I that troubles me. Like, I mean, obviously we know he's gonna be in it, but to what extent? Like, that's heartbreaking for anybody who's read the books. Regis is so important. You know what I mean? I don't know. It almost brings me to tears to not see Regis. Like,
that was awesome. Another great way to invite people into the world of Drizzt is through video games, which brings us to the incredible Dark Alliance. This game is being developed by 2 Games and published by Wizards of the Coast. Joining our conversation now to...
all right, can you tell which one is Ice and Death and Twinkle in that one?
Awesome. Another great way to invite people into the world of...
have very vivid
tales about the process of bringing
just wanted to
Salvatore's
see the
characters
blades
to
in
life
it.
in
Can
this
you tell in the
is
game
Jeff
which one is Ice
Hattem,
and Death?
the studio head and creative director for 2 Games. Jeff, tell us about your inspiration for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. Like a lot of people, I read the books when I was a teen, and have very vivid memories of the action in my head, Drizzt dashing around with his scimitars, and that was the inspiration right there to make an action game that was based on Drizzt.
Makes sense. You were there from the beginning, so you've been a lifelong fan of Drizzt.
Yeah, read the books early on, and then reread them again while working on the game, and it was fun.
Yes, can you make unlockable characters and put Artemis and even just put a lot of the background characters. I mean, even the monk, put him in the game too. You know what I mean? Put the Fist and Fury in there too. Also put, I mean, I'm not trying to name the whole roster, but you got to put unlockable characters in this game.
And it was fun to revisit those books.
You know, we heard you developed this game in a really unorthodox kind of way. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. If by unorthodox you mean starting to work on the game before you have a partner, before you have any kind of agreement to work on it. We just were passionate about the characters, wanted to make this game, bring the action of Drizzt and the companions to life, and we just went plowing forward.
At what point did you find out that Bob was going to collaborate with you?
Well, I reached out to Bob early on, just sent him an email, got his contact through a mutual contact at Wizards of the Coast, and started exchanging, getting some insights. And Bob was very helpful with the guidance early on.
And what was that like for a fan? I mean, that had to be crazy to be like, I'm talking to Bob Salvatore.
Yeah, it was pretty awe-inspiring. I mean, you grow up reading these books and the Dungeons and Dragons, the Drizzt novels. It's part of my DNA as a game creator for sure. And so it was quite impressive to work with Bob.
And Bob, what were your first impressions of Dark Alliance?
My first impressions were shocked because I had no idea. I was up at Wizards of the Coast, and I was up for something completely different. And then they said, Bob, these guys from this Canadian company want to say hi. And they got something for you.
Jeff, what was that like? I know you weren't expecting that, and having been like, well, he's here, show him right now.
It was pretty nerve-wracking, but Bob was very gracious and said he liked what he saw, and that gave us the energy to continue.
What was the collaborative process of working with Took like?
You know, for me, the process was making sure that they weren't just kidding me when they said they knew the books and loved the characters. Because people will tell
you that. Yeah, a lot of people would say, I read the book, and you tell them any part of the story, you tell them what happened here, what happened there, they can't even tell you a damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I would do it. I'd be like, all right, you read the book, okay, so what happened in this part, and what makes Regis' missing finger so historic, so biblical? You know what I mean? I would have said some minor details like that. Not minor details, which is a major part of the story, but if he knows why Regis has that missing finger, then yes, he read the book. You know what I mean? And how many times did Artemis and Cherry's Drizzt actually fight? I would also mention that, because that will really dive into all the details of all the books. And I would have mentioned so many things, because so many people say they read the books and they haven't read shit.
But they actually knew the characters. And that was important to me, because I just wanted to make sure that I was giving these characters over to a group of folks that I came to trust, that they understood what I wanted to accomplish in the books, and they weren't going to short-circuit that, and they were going to treat the characters the way I wanted them.
How about you, Jeff, being on the other side of that? You know, no pressure. He's just telling you, I trust you to take care of my babies. What was the collaborative process like from your side?
Yeah, well, that's where I think we got some goodwill built between the two of us, where we proved that we were going to do them justice. It is this found family, right? That an unlikely group of characters that come.
I don't like Wolfgar's hairdo right there.
Together, together are stronger as a unit as opposed to individually.
Did you develop the storyline together?
Early on, we bounced some ideas, and
I gotta look at Wolfgar's hairdo
with Bob to figure out what setting we do. We originally wanted to set it a little earlier in the timeline, but the game is really about action, so we set it after the events of the Crystal Shard, and the Crystal Shard.
After the events of the Crystal Shard. Wow!
Is now a known artifact in the Forgotten Realms, and so it's only natural that a whole bunch of baddies are going to descend upon the Dale to try and claim it for themselves.
Makes total sense. I'm surprised you didn't write that book. But what kind of direction did you give in terms of the characters?
It was more me asking questions than anything else, to make sure that they knew what they were doing with the characters. And they did. They developed that trust with me right at the beginning.
Bob was more involved early on in the process to set the foundations for the game, and then he let us go.
But we've talked a lot about Drizzt and the companions, but the monsters in D&D lore have been around for over 50 years and are very well known. Monsters such as
How you don't mention Regis finally? Like, what's going on here?
frost giants and beholders. How do you make those unique and ownable on the page as well as in the game world?
Yeah, I think the key word in there is unique. You have these classes of monsters, but every monster in and of itself is unique, and every tribe is unique. And that was something that was liberating as well for us working with Wizards of the Coast, where you don't have these hard rules in D&D. D&D is a game about self-expression. It's not super strict, and it's not precious about any of the rules in D&D, and it's all about players expressing how they interpret them.
Like Jeff just talked about, that's when I know that they're not just doing some surface combat, throwing a bunch of good guys and bad guys against each other. They're actually thinking through motivations, structure of their society.
This game looks really good,
combat.
though. It looks really
Makes total sense. And
Can't
Jeff,
wait to
what
play
can
it.
players expect with Dark Alliance that brings something completely new to the world of Drizzt?
Every playable character, the 4 companions, has over 50 moves that you can unlock in the game, and they all chain seamlessly with one another. You get it really into the flow of combat. We call it emergent combat.
I can't see
I'm not
both guys'
interested
hair,
in players having to memorize complex button presses. I just want them to have the intent and flow with the combat. Feel like Drizzt, become Drizzt.
So no down forward, back, high kick?
You can try it.
I can tell you, I for one cannot wait to get lost in Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. But that is not all. This summer, Drizzt and his companions are coming to Magic the Gathering with the new card set Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. For those of you who may not know, the Forgotten Realms is the most iconic setting in
Let's
Dungeons &
shorten
Dragons.
this up a little.
And now
I'm
you
gonna
can
watch it on
explore
my own
this realm
time.
with
It's Forgotten Realm, the cards.
of Magic and D&D.
Yep, the cards. All right, but there you have it. You know what I mean? You can watch the rest of this on your own time. I wanted to get to the nitty-gritty of what they were talking about, especially with the new book coming out in August. And also, there is a TV series that's gonna talk about Drizzt. It's the second TV series because there's a first movie coming out where Michelle Rodriguez is involved, where Chris Pine is involved. It doesn't talk about Drizzt at all, but it is in the Dungeons and Dragons world. But it is not about Drizzt at all. Whatever they said, the second TV series or movie that's coming out about Dungeons and Dragons is going to mention Drizzt. So I'm wondering what's that about. I can't wait. I can't freaking wait. What's that gonna be about? So let the first one come out. Let it come out. Let it be released anyway. I don't care. I care about the second one about Drizzt. That's all I care about. But did you enjoy it? Hey, put your comments down in the comment section. What do you think about the new book coming out? Also, what do you think about the game about to be released? And also, what do you think about them not mentioning Regis or Artemis and Cherry at all? Not even Jarlaxle or whatever the case may be. I know they're going to be mentioned, but they weren't even showcased. You know what I mean? I would have really liked to see them. But let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Also, hit the subscribe button for any upcoming new videos. I really appreciate the support for my upcoming channel that's basically growing little and little by the minute, and I really appreciate it. This is Black Shy Guy. Thanks for sitting at my table. I'm out of here. Peace.